Sunny by Taiyo Matsumoto. Sunny is a manga by Taiyo Matsumoto. It's a 6-volume manga, and the English edition is by Viz Media. This is the Spanish one by SSC, and it is a 1-volume edition. SSA published the original 6 volumes on trades, not hardcovers as Viz did. But then at some point they collected everything on this hardcover. And that is the edition I have. For this particular series, since it's not that long for a manga, it's like an omnibus. It's like a Marvel DC omnibus, and for me that's like a size I think I can manage with one hand. Also, it's not that heavy. So that's it for the edition, I guess. Yeah, whole story. And what's Sunny about? Sunny is a manga by Taiyo Matsumoto. Taiyo Matsumoto is the creator of Ping Pong. That one has an anime. Tekken King, that one has a movie. Number 5, that's my favorite. Also published by Viz Media. Takemitsu Samurai, or Samurai, Bamboo Samurai, something like that. There's not an English version yet of that one, and in Spanish is out of print, so I haven't read it yet. And now I think it's finished, but it's just been recently published. Tokyo Day by Day, Tokyo These Days on English, and Tokyo Higoro, something like that. So this is the 2010s Taiyo Matsumoto. It's different from the 90s Taiyo Matsumoto, and different, not that different, but different from the 2000s Taiyo Matsumoto. This Taiyo Matsumoto is different, that the series are published at his own pace. So when he is ready with an episode, and gets published. And this series, from some interview to him, I read that Tekken King was like when you're a kid, what you dream, you want your life to be, adventures. And Sunny, now made by him as an adult, really adult, it's more like a reflection. It's more like what his childhood really was, how it really was. It's not autobiographical, but has to have something for me. I know that these the stories, sometimes he has conversations with his wife, so maybe the script is by him and his wife. Sure, it has this style, it's a lot more complicated on the finished drawings than the ones on Ping Pong, for example. It's a whole other style. It's more close to the one on Look at That Mountain, on Cats of the Loop. Yeah, it's more close to that one. So what's Sunny about? Sunny is 37 chapters. They are pretty much self-contained and are like adventures, or more than adventures, are they are slice of life stories, self-contained stories about these kids. And I don't know how it's called in English, but in Spanish is um, La Casa de los Niños de las Estrellas, and House of the Star Children, maybe. Um, that's it. That's the plot. Like for example, we have an episode with this kid with glasses, and the first episode he comes to this house, and they are not orphans. They have fathers, mothers, parents, but for some reason, and being, for example, that they are ill, or they are divorced, separated, and then, for example, the white kid, Haruo, has some. There's a girl, and this girl, her parents are dead, for example. But there's another one. This kid with white hair, that his parents are alive, the two of them, and when you read the book at some point, and they appear, and you get why he's left alone on this house. It's not a really happy answer, but that's it. Basically, these kids, and the day of them. It is a lot like The Simpsons. The stories are not sad per se, but you can be find yourself reading one story. Sometimes the story is ridiculous or it's funny, and then the next scene is really sad and you get emotional. And then again, for example, here, these characters who is in charge of all the children is um, um, telling some stuff to this kid, and this kid is not really getting it. So it has and it travels through a lot of emotions in this book. For me, it was a really good one. And some stories, are really funny or really get to you in some way, or it depends, on the reader, on what has experienced, what a character are funny, or you're more sympathetic to them. But for me, it's a masterclass on telling self-contained stories, and you get a reward when you read this whole book in order, because at first I wasn't reading it in order. I just was looking at the first page of each chapter, and I read the ones that draw my attention. But if you read this in order, you get a character development, and that's like on the old TV series, for example, when they were more focused on the adventure or the case or whatever of the episode itself. But if you watch all the episodes in order, you get rewarded with a character development. That's the payoff on this book. I like a lot how he draws the cities, the animals, places, how, well, On this Spanish edition we get and onomatopoeia sound effects when we get them in Japanese, and there is a translation there. I prefer this to the fully translated sound effects. There are some stories, about, for example, a girl, and there's a birthday episode, an episode where people from the TV are going to do a documentary on these kids. And there's an episode where some of these kids are on the mall or go to a fair. This one, for example, and you get to see what every kid does at the fair. Here. Some episodes about some of these kids get to meet kids with houses. That's how, or kids with home. That's how they are called. Regular kids, in a way. And they get there's some like and drama in that, knowing that they are different. But also there's humor. For example, this fat, big kid is really tall and all that, and says a lot of weird stuff. He's used for comedic value. So again, I wouldn't say it's a sad book. It's a lot like The Simpsons, the classic Simpsons. They can talk about a certain topic, and then maybe you will get sad with it, or it will make you tear up, cry, laugh, whatever. And in one episode, it can go from happy to sad to happy again, or whatever. They are really good and well done. Also, what I really like about Taiyo Matsumoto is that he experiments. He's really conservative on the way he does these panels, but with the word balloons, he plays a lot. For example, when they are thinking something, it has this old comic style of bubbles, this cloud. When they are talking is the classical approach, but sometimes when a character is narrating, has this text on the air. Sometimes when when someone is shouting, these word balloons have these spikes, or when the TV sound effects sometimes, or for example when the TV is or the radio is saying something, you get this more rectangular, in a way, bubbles, word balloons. So also that is really interesting of this mangaka. He's really different from the majority of them, in a formal way, and also not the themes. No, but his treatment of the topics, for me, is a more recommendable book for people who are not really into manga. It's something they can understand. They look Japanese characters, for example. then you don't find in here um, a lot of big eye characters with colors, and hers with a lot of colors, or the dialogue is really naturalistic in its approach, and that makes it's a really it's really worth a read if you are into slice of life. From the ones I read, it has a lot. Well, the scripts are really well done, but the drawings, you know, and this style again of different word balloons, changing the main character from one story to another, makes the book, worth a read and a reread. And maybe you, when you want to reread this book, come back to it. Maybe you don't come back to the whole book, but maybe you come back to that one episode you remember, and you will read that episode, and you'll be satisfied again, because again the stories on this book are self-contained. Of course, there's an arc for the characters, but there's not like a plot you are following and want to know what happens in the end. And for that same reason, I read this in like more than a month. And that was because when I read this book, I didn't read more than one episode a day to make the reading experience, to make it worth it a lot more. And I think it really pay off. It's a book I really recommend. I really recommend to read it, but in a slow way. Don't get too anxious. The book will not make you anxious at all, because again, there's not a central plot to it. It's really well done. For me, Taiyo Matsumoto, I like him a lot because he has a lot of different mangas in his style. For example, Tekken Concrete is like a crime story, adventure story. Ping Pong is the one about motivation and sports. And then we have Gogo Monster. That one I didn't really like it that much. Number 5 is an action comic, a war comic, really good one. My favorite. Sunny's the slice of life one. And he's a really he has a lot of styles. He has a book that maybe this one doesn't really grab you because it's a slice of life about orphan kids, but maybe there's other books by him that you like, and then you will revisit this one and you will say like, oh no, it was a good one. So that's it. Sunny by Taiyo Matsumoto is really, I really recommend it.